Going to go ahead and get started. Looks like we have our first person up today that's ready to go is Carl. Hey, Carl,
Hey,
hi.
Zen. Hi, how are you
Welcome to the
doing?
show. Good to see
Good.
you.
Good to see
I
you
see
too.
you have your headphones on. That's wonderful. Any earbuds, any headphones will work, everybody. It'll help us from having a echo. How can I help you today, Carl? Nice to see your face again.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we've been living in our town. We've been renting a townhouse for the last 3 years and absolutely love it. And it was supposed to be a long term rental, but just before Thanksgiving, we found out that our landlords have to move back. They live in Belize right now. And so it kind of surprised us a little bit, caught us off guard, and just just in a conflict on what to do next. You know, um, I just purchased a practice before COVID, and so that took a lot of my funds. And then COVID kind of slowed everything down, and so I don't have a lot of uh, capital to purchase a place, and rent has gone sky high.
Where are you
And
at?
so
What location?
we live in Loveland, Colorado.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep, I know it
yep.
well.
So right. So yeah, we're just I'm just trying to use my internal guidance to figure out what's the best thing to do, and there's so many emotions involved. Sometimes I have a hard time feeling it. It took a week just to kind of
Process.
process it.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so yeah, so it's time to probably we have thank goodness they gave us three till the end of February. So that's very nice of them. So they're good people. Um, but
Well,
yeah,
here's a couple things. First of all, and I want you to kind of hold your thoughts as we go along, okay?
sure.
Because you have studied, you've done the program, the 14-day fear-free mind experience program. So you've
Right.
got some wherewithal, and now you're in Stress to Happiness, which I love. Thank you so much for joining.
Oh,
And
you bet.
one of the things that opens everyone is that I don't know how, this is the thought, I don't know how, but this is going to end up being the best thing that could have happened. So hold that thought for a moment and
Yes.
notice your IGS response. I don't know how, but this is going to end up being the best thing that could have happened.
Right. It
Open? Does
does
it open
open.
you?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so oftentimes we get pushed, okay, out of the nest, out of a situation that we're comfortable in if we're needed to be somewhere else. My question would be just kind of instinctually, how is your practice going?
It's doing, but it's growing again, and we've gotten a lot busier. And there's always room for more growth, but I'm pleased with how it's doing.
And so you
So
enjoying it. You want it, you're really
yes.
happy with that. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good. Because sometimes if that's not going well, then it could be that you're needed somewhere else or that there's a partner to come
Right.
in to support the business and you go do something else. Okay.
Hmm.
So when you're in a situation like this, my go-to is what's missing in my life that I'd love to have more than anything.
Hmm.
Because it's in the program, we talk about the divine purchase order of proof, right? And so you're looking at what do I want to have? What would make it better than that? What could even be better than that? Does that make sense?
Yes.
So is there anything that you are really yearning for or missing or putting off? After I do this, then we'll do that. Is there anything like that happening in your life?
Um, Not that I can think of. Not
Nothing you're putting
really.
off until retirement
Um,
or anything like that? You're perfectly content. You have everything. It's all there.
well, maybe
There
some
hasn't
more
been
vacation
anything.
time would be nice.
No, that's kind of where I'm going with this, actually.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So here's a couple of things to be looking at. All right. Um, and as soon as you started talking this as being intuitive, this thing dropped in. So I happen to know of a couple, and I've had actually a couple of couples that I know that have done this. But one is, I believe, still doing it, that have done international house sitting.
Hmm.
Okay. And so what that looks like is you get paid to take care of people's houses for long term, all over the world. And they actually have websites. I don't know why I'm telling you this, by the way, just FYI, but they actually have websites where you can go and you can look at these job opportunities. You put your resume and who you are as a couple up there. Okay. By the way, for everybody who's listening, you don't have to be a couple, but they do love to have couples in there because sometimes some of these places are amazing. Like one of them was up on the Annapurna Trail in Nepal, and it was a birdery or a falconry, and they took in they have a bed and breakfast that they needed to have run in the off season because they go to spend time with their family. And then there's all these hang gliders that come every year and they stay at the bed and breakfast. And then there's these birds that they teach you how to take care of because they've been injured and they're rehabilitating them. Another one was down in Argentina and it was on a lake. And the only way you could get back and forth to get groceries was by boat. And so you do a little maintenance on the property and you take care of it and keep it warm and make sure, the pipes don't freeze and all of that. And you get a stipend as well as often travel to get there. And these things will last for 3 to 6 months. And I have people that have stayed, 4 months in Singapore and 9 months in the UK and various places. So the only reason I'm saying this is there are lots of people, and there are lots of people in Colorado who need house sitters. There are lots of people that need temporary or have places to stay where they need support. Okay, so just think outside of the box when you're in a situation like this. Okay, the other thing is that, and I know that, rent goes sky high, but that doesn't mean that you won't find somebody who just really wants a great person in there.
Right. That's what we happened to follow. This was really a good, sweet deal. They asked us to rent from them. And it's been so nice, but
yeah, no, and you can find that again. I would put it out locally here. We have, and we're going to check your IGS here in a minute. I'm just throwing some stuff out there so we can get the thoughts rolling in the right direction. So locally, we have a great Facebook group here where you can put your situation out there, and you'd be surprised at what you could do for trade as well. Okay, so. And it depends on what you really want to do. As far as like what kind of support you would want to give in trade. I know you're an incredibly talented healer, right? And there are people out there that most likely have the opportunity for you to be able to support them in that. So now let's check with your IGS. Now that we've gotten kind of like some crazy thoughts out there. So I don't recommend for everybody who's out there to sit and ask questions of your internal guidance system and to use it as a divination tool. And what I mean by that is, you don't just sit on the couch and go, oh, should I go right or left? It doesn't really work because you may need to go forward or backward in your life. And if you're trying to get right or left, you get frustrated with not having an answer. And really, the internal guidance system is about proper alignment with in your thinking, with what's going to bring you the greatest success, joy, and happiness in your life and keep you on your divine blueprint. So what I would do is I would look at immediately, am I where I'm supposed to be? These things often, because I want you to hold the thinking as I'm talking, are Mary, because I know Carl and I know his beautiful wife, Mary. Are Mary and I where we're supposed to be? Open, closed, or neutral, first sensation. Is this a sign? Is this an experience? Go ahead. As you're holding the thought, are we in the best place we could possibly be in?
I feel open to that.
Okay, then so there is a home. This or something better is coming. Hold the thought. Okay. Something better than this, something more aligned than this is coming.
I feel closed.
Okay, so what is the thought? What is the actual thought? Did you actually think this or
probably that better? Nothing's good. Nothing good. Probably the opposite of what you said.
Okay,
let me see.
Just go with the thinking that you have, because that's the actual power. You don't want to change your thinking until you know what it is.
Right. So I'm open to something better is going to come along.
Well, so let's go back to nothing's coming along. We're going to be homeless. We're not going to be able to afford to live. We're not going to be able to afford to live. We're going to have a crummy little place. We're going to hate it. Our home is our sanctuary, and it's going to suck now. It's closing.
All those thoughts have been going through. That's very closing. Yeah.
It's all
So that's
closings.
not
That
true
means
or not going to happen.
it's not true and it's not going to happen.
Right.
So what is going to happen is what usually happens in experiences like this, I like to think of it as God and the universe are reshuffling you to where you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why the homeowners need to come back. There's something really important for them in the community. As you go through stress to happiness, one of the things that modules you're going to come up on soon is the soul family module. Okay. And so the way I like to explain it is it's not willy-nilly that we're anywhere on the planet. We are where we're supposed to be in order to have the connections and be in alignment and be in relationship with the people that will bring us our soul's growth, as well as us causing their soul's growth. Soul's growth could be pleasant or unpleasant in our experience. It's still really good and juicy, but like we can have people that come in and they suck and they drive us crazy, but they're actually making us grow more than anybody else. And then we have the people that come in and they're amazing and they're so gracious and we are just in gratitude that we get to have our time with them, right? But in situations like this, there is a reason they need to come home. And there is a new neighborhood or new place of being that you need to be in order to do what you're here to do with your soul family. And so it's actually an exciting, good thing. We call it sitting in divine fascination and waiting to see what your openings are going to bring you next.
Right.
Okay. And it'll be magical. Don't work too hard at it.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not saying you know how to do flow. You've had moments of flow. I know you're a baby IGSer.
Yep.
Okay. but flow will take you to the place where you're going to find to live.
Okay.
Okay. And there's two ways it'll happen. Either you'll sit and drop into your listening, like I taught you to do throughout your day, and you'll follow your instincts.
Right.
And it could look as silly as going to a coffee shop. You're like, you keep getting this thought in your head to go to this coffee shop and sit and read a book. And you're like, but I need to work or whatever. You get to the coffee shop and then the person next to you start talking about the book. And then all of a sudden they're like, well, how are you doing? I don't know. I'm a little stressed out. I got to find a new place to live. Really? I've got this really great cottage behind my house. Mm-hmm. Or my mother does. And you're like, really? That would be so great. And so that's how it happens.
Right. Okay.
So you got to follow the flow, and the flow happens through your openings.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Good. Yep.
Now, do you feel more open?
I do.
Okay.
I have one other. So my kids are pretty wonderful, and two of them, they hate to see us move again and again, and so they said, well, we could help you with a down payment, and I feel a little closed on that, but I don't know.
Well, let's look into that. Let's look into that. This is actually coming into a perfect timing. Okay. In the market's starting to shift, and we're going to see a bunch of stuff change. So tell me about the closing thoughts.
I hate to, I just, I feel like I'd be using them, It's
Does that open
to be
you?
The other way. It's supposed to be the other way around. No, that closes me.
That closes you. Mm-hmm. I know it's a big ego thing.
It is.
I understand that. Totally. Okay. However, how much time and energy and money did you put into them in order to get them to a place where they could then thus support you?
Right.
Okay. So instead of it looking at it as, there's different, I like, it's all about mindset, of course. And that really what we're talking about, the difference is we're really checking in with where we are in our experience with our bodies to be able to connect to the divine blueprint that belongs to us. And that's where that intuitive, really juicy power comes in. But in my family, with my husband and I and my son, we look at it as we are a family unit that is creating wealth. Okay. So it's not, we have wealth and our son has wealth, right? Or my cousins and my aunts and uncles. We've talked a lot about, our family wealth and lifting. High tide raises all boat and lifting it. Right. And so the thing is that if they do help you get into a home and help you with a down payment, and there's a lot of great opportunities coming in this coming spring, by the way. So it's a good time to do it. And there's also a ton of foreclosures and stuff happening. There's so much going on in the real estate market you could take advantage of. they're only going to end up getting it anyways in the end.
Right.
Right. And
Yeah.
they're building their own
Right.
wealth. You could be putting your
Right.
money into rent that's not going back to their estate, or you could be putting your
Right.
money into mortgage, which is building their estate.
That's how they see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, the smarter thing to do is to really actually look and have a conversation about your family's lineage and wealth and how this would build it up. And that could be something. And you just also want to make sure that your kids are not controlling crazy people, because you don't actually need them
Right.
to have any leverage over you and Mary.
Right. Right.
Right. You know,
Yeah.
like, okay, you know, they don't tell us what to do with the house and all that. You have to have very clear boundaries.
Right.
And I'm not feeling like you need to, but that's for everybody listening. Right. Because there are some people that would love to buy their house, their mom and dad a house so that they can control them. Or some,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, it's not okay. But but truly look at it and have a deeper conversation about the wealth of it and what would happen, and then, you know, include them in these conversations. Check your IGS though, because there also feels like, it almost feels like, hold on, Carl. And you need to check your IGS on what I'm about to say, but it also kind of feels like what would be great is if they bought the house and you paid the mortgage as a rent and they're responsible for the house, because there does feel like there's a time when you are going to go traveling.
Yeah.
And it may be that they take over the property management of renting the house and it becomes a family asset, but you're not tied to it or the conditions of it selling or the conditions of that kind of stuff. Does that make sense? So really just play with the different thinking until you find the opening, because it feels like there's a really beautiful creative situation and you want to think about everything in advance. Not in an exhausting way, but in a, here's what our plans are, kids, in the long run. And we want to make sure you're aware of that. It's really great for us to rent because we can just ditch and go to Spain if we want to for 8 months, or we can do whatever. And renting has actually been something that's worked for us because we haven't wanted to have to do the upkeep and the new roof and the and so here it's more than just a temporary solution. A mortgage is more than a temporary solution of getting you guys into a new house. It's a lovely thought, but here's everything. Okay. Anything else? And it's okay. You have not taken up. Okay, good. As much as you want. Thank you, sir, bringing this. I know that there's probably a lot of people that enjoyed, and everybody who's watching, if you want to put in the comments anything you want to say, that would be great. So thanks, Carl. Good to see your face again.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. All right. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see here. Bring on Sky. Thanks, love. Give my best to Mary.
I will. Thank you.